Welcome in, everyone, to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin. Going to be joined momentarily by my co-host James Haskell, and of course DK's in the background running the show. And we have a familiar face and special guest of the show, Coach Evans, joining us from Sip Italy in just a moment. But did want to quickly go over a couple transactions for the Ravens while I wait for Jimmy to arrive, because there has been some transactional news. But then we are going to go over the continued growing list of injuries and the expectation of when some of these guys are going to get back out there, and then go over even some of the bad news of where it doesn't expect at least one guy to come back this season. And by the sounds of it, it could be even longer. So we're going to get King Blaze. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you joining me. So we're going to go over all that and then maybe find some bright spots about the season going forward, because we're still very early on, and while it does look doom and gloom, there's still a lot of season left to be played. Carla, appreciate you joining us. Lindsay, it's been a while. Appreciate you joining. Been away at college. Okay, all right. Hope you're doing well and marching towards that degree. So shout out to you, Lindsay. But yeah, do want to quickly start with some of the transactional news. We covered on this show that a few days ago the Ravens had 2022 first-round draft pick guard Kenyon Green in for a tryout. He ultimately was signed to the practice squad, so he is now a member of this team. And boy, do we need any and all the depth we can get. The offensive line, of course, has been much of the discussion when it comes to the Ravens underperforming so far this season, and they've certainly their guard play and now an injury to Ronnie Stanley has been a big topic of conversation. So maybe Kenyon Green is no more than just depth, and they will promote from within if they decide to do so. Or, hey, maybe he actually has a chance to make an impact and kind of revitalize his career, which at this point, a 22 first-round draft pick being signed this point, I mean, he's obviously had a disappointing career to this point. He shouldn't be a street free agent after being a first-round pick in 2022. But, hey, maybe this is the landing spot where he'll start and kind of rehabilitate that career and get back on the right track like a first rounder was kind of meant to be. But also more personnel notice, longtime linebacker in the National Football League, Eric Kendricks, is also going to be tried out for this team with the announcement of the injuries at the inside linebacker position. Eric Kendricks is at least being brought in for a tryout to see if he can help provide some immediate depth, which is desperate. I mean, desperate need here, no doubt about it. Notorious Ravens fan has no faith. Oh, my goodness. Clock can't even listen to the media. Appreciate you joining us, though. Yeah, I mean, look, it's no fun to join or to watch SportsCenter right now because, oh, my gosh, that's all it is absolute meltdown right now. DK, that ended yesterday, just so you know. So no read-in today. Thank goodness. Sophomore year, Lindsay. Wow. Look at that. Time is moving by quick. But without any further ado, I do want to bring in our guest and special friend of the show, Coach Evans from Sip Italy. How you doing tonight? Appreciate your time, sir.
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, but man, is it not easy right now being a Ravens fan? I mean, holy smokes, has it been not the year anyone thought this was going to be. This was just a few weeks ago being called the most talented roster in football and was the odds-on favorite to win the entire daggone thing. Mm-hmm. And, man, has a lot changed from then to now. Before we get into, man, we got a lot to talk about. But the first thing I kind of want to start on is the topic that – here comes Jimbo. Jimmy joining us here shortly. Appreciate you joining us, Jimbo. Appreciate it. But the spot I want to start out with is the spot that I think is the most important, and it's the injury to Lamar Jackson. When you saw the injury, I immediately noticed on social media that when the injury happened and he was out of the game and Cooper Rush was inserted, immediately people are accusing of quitting and all this and that. And even after John Harbaugh came out and said, look, there's no way he's not going back in that game if he was healthy enough to do so, I still see some fans accusing him of quitting on the team and quitting on this coaching staff. What's your take on that? Do you look at that? I mean, because I look at those as absolutely ridiculous. I think it's crazy talk, but I do want to get your take and tell me if I'm crazy here, Coach.
No, I don't necessarily think that, but for me, I think it's two. It falls in two categories. If you're hurt and don't go back out there, that's one thing. If you're injured and can't go back, that's another thing. Now, I personally thought he was hurt and just didn't want to go through. Wasn't no sense of further risking being injured. But after seeing videos of how he moved afterwards and whatnot, before even John came out and said it, I was like, oh yeah, he might be hurt. So I kind of ate my initial words on that, because I thought he was just hurt, and just after the pounding he was taking, I think he probably was already had some kind of nagging injury, and he just was like, nah, we're gonna try again next week.
Yeah, I that was really tough to watch, because you feel for Lamar and the competitor that he is, and it's kind of funky to know, it's kind of hard to tell when it happened and things like that. But I tend to agree with you there, Coach. There's some other injuries though as well. I mean, it's just hard for me to talk about Lamar, dude, because I feel like with Lamar, I can tell you what, guys. So I live right here. You guys know I live right here in the city, and everyone is deflated.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely deflated. There's Ravens stuff everywhere, and no one even wants to look at it, wants to talk about it, wants to wear it. Everyone is just defeated. So, but of course, we still have to play the season out. And Lamar, 2-3 games is the hope. And who knows? Look, I guess what I'm saying is we got a shot. It's about it. But really, Roquan is out. Marlon is seemingly out. Obviously, Metabike. We haven't even had the chance on the show to talk about Metabike, have we, Glenn? Since the news that it's season ending.
We kind of knew it, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
official.
But like now that it's official, man, where are you two at? Where's your headspace at when it comes to injuries in regards to this season?
Yeah, well, Coach, before I let you go, I will say this. It makes it feel like an impossible task. Like, if your team is underperforming, but you still have the guys in the room, then you at least have the hope of okay, we've seen these guys play better football than they're playing right now, and so hopefully they can get it figured out. When the injuries amount to your best players, it makes it feel hopeless, is kind of the outlook I'm getting. What do you think, Coach?
Just looking at that list, that's a lot. That's a lot. But to me, there's only one that stands out, and that's Lamar. If Lamar's injury can be 2 to 3 weeks and we can get him back after the bye, I still have hope. Because he's the one guy. We've seen what he did in 2019 with all he had was the O-line. It was him and the O-line. That's it. Everybody else was mid. And he got MVP and 14 straight wins and probably was a win away from the AFC Championship game. So if his injury can be minimal and say, these 2 games, then a bye, and he's back, I feel like we got a chance to get in. And if we're playing good football in December and January, getting in would be what you need, because you want to be playing your best ball at the end of the year.
I like that. I like that you have look, it's easy right now for me and all Ravens fans to get a little down in the dumps, okay? A little bit bummed out. But like you mentioned, Coach, there's still a lot of season left to play. And if they can somehow get it together when it matters most at the end of the season, then I guess they have just as good a shot as anyone. Who knows what the injury situation will look like for other teams once we get to December and January. Could very well be a bunch of banged up guys. We saw the injuries to the wide receivers. Tyreek Hill. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That was one of the most brutal injuries I've ever seen. And then Neighbors just a week before, the young guy goes down. So, hey, you never know how things could change, but they cannot allow this to become too deep of a hole that they're digging themselves into. And so I guess my next question would be then, Coach, is with the coaching staff that we have, because I think that's the part that had the most confusion. Like, how is it that a Todd Monken-led offense that was breaking virtually every record last season? I mean, I'm looking at the film breakdown of yourself and a lot of other guys, and some are different opinions. Like, some are saying that he did have a plan and there was and others are saying Monken didn't even have a plan on 4th and 2. And then they juxtaposition, they show the Chiefs and their plan on 4th down, and it just seemed more. Or how does this coaching go from coaching staff go from breaking every single record on offense to
Mm-hmm.
coming up to a fourth down with seemingly looks like they don't have a plan to get it?
Well, as well as they did last year, this year they were pretty good up until this game. 40, and 37. That's what, 38 points a game up until this last game. So they were still on pace to be record breaking. I think Lamar was on pace to throw more touchdowns before this last game than last year, before this one. So I feel like it's just one play, and anything can happen in that one play. It could be a miscommunication. It could be somebody ran the wrong route. It could be the defense did something you weren't expecting and you couldn't adjust. If they didn't have a plan for that one situation, it's not inexcusable, because there's professionals that got a plan for every situation. But I can see if that was one of the things that was kind of left off the plate, because you got to have your main, how you gonna score all the time, your how you gonna stop them all, the most of the time. You have your third and longs, your second and longs, and you just feel like you have some fourth down plays, which are probably the same as 2-point plays, that'll get you 2 yards. And so you kind of hit them early in the week and you don't go back to them. And so you just kind of feel like, okay, they know what to do on that. We necessarily got to rep it. Well, some coaches, do situational practice all day. That's all they do is situations. And so that stuff is drilled in the back of their head. They don't have traditional in Indy 7-on-7 and stuff like that. They play situations. They play football at practice. So that could be the difference in the coaching aspect of it.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to shift gears here because I have a take. Shout JT401. Shout out, Coach. Love you, Lamar. Get well soon. And I'm hoping that this can inject some positivity into the outlook of Ravens fans. I've been thinking about this a lot today. Where can we find hope? Look, I'm not going to talk about the defense yet because it's even harder to find some positivity there. But
don't ask Coach that, because Coach Harbaugh thinks the defense is right there.
Right there. That's right.
So close.
Sure. Yeah, that's how close I am to 6 foot, Glenn. Guys, I'm 5'8" on a good day, just so you know. That's pushing it. So this is my take. You guys remember a few years ago when old 22 was running for the Titans?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when what was his quarterback?
Tannehill
Was an MVP candidate.
Oh yeah, monster season.
And that offense was Derrick Henry's offense. Now, we don't have I don't think the offensive line, Tannehill is certainly a better football player than Cooper Rush, but I guess what I'm taking away as a potential here, like, can we ride the Derrick Henry train for a few games, 20, 25, 30 carries, I don't care, and just look, Cooper Rush, all you got to do is just manage the game. Dish the ball to Zay. Get the ball to Rashad Bateman. I don't want to see any of the passes now, I'm not telling you not to pass the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. We don't need any contested stuff. If it ain't open, just get rid of it, dude, right? But, like, to me, I just want, here's 22. We're going to take our massive humans that we have on the line, and let's move forward. And we got to live with the results. None of this. Derrick Henry should have nothing under 22 touches per game for as long as 8 is out of the game. Period. End of story. And I think there's a chance that with that type of football, I think there's a chance that we could go like 500. Okay. I think there's a chance. Now, it all really hinges on the defense. I think we'll still find a way to manufacture points.
Mm-hmm.
But holy crap, Coach, I don't know what the heck's going on with the defense. I don't know what we're going to do here because we can't stop. Dude, if I was playing running back for any team right now, man, I would put up 50
run straight at us. Yeah, every time. Run straight at us.
Goodness gracious. I don't know what to do there. I don't know if you have some answers there, but I'd love to get your guys' take on my take.
All right, what do you think about that positivity, Coach?
I think that Cooper Rush will force us to play more traditional style of football, and hopefully they'll see that, oh, we can do this. And whatever Lamar does with his feet is extra. To show that we can be under center, show we can run outside, inside zone, show that we can play action off of it, show that we can have a quick passing, 3-step passing game from under center. And then when stuff does break down, and you got people playing traditional football, Lamar gonna have even more lanes to move if he's so fit, fit. But the game plan can't be the same for Cooper Rush as it is for Lamar. Have Cooper Rush out there running zone read and read option and all waiting on all these deep routes. No, Cooper Rush can't move like Lamar, and you see Lamar hurt. Imagine what's going to happen to Cooper Rush if he got to go through what Lamar went through. If y'all don't know, Lamar was sacked 15 times in 4 games. So if you put that past the season, that's 60 sacks with a 17 game left. He can't. Nobody can withstand that. And Lamar is one of the most agile, athletic players on earth
ever. I mean, he's one-on-one.
How much of that is on the O-line, and how much of that is on, the combination of Lamar Jackson trying to hold the ball too long because there's, long developing routes down the field? Like, how much of that is on the O-line, and how much of that was on everything else?
I think it's about 33 for all of them. O-line, coaching, and then sometimes Lamar. Sometimes he hold it, waiting on long developing routes. Sometimes he don't hit the quick route. Sometimes he just make a bad decision. Most of the time, he makes the right decision. And then he makes the coach's bad decisions right by his play. So what he does to negate the other 66%, his 33% to me is, I ain't gonna say excuse, but it's a lot less more important, because most of the time when a coach call a play and it obviously ain't gonna work, that guy can make it work. Whether the routes take too long and he can get out of it, or he throw a dart between 2 players, most of the time 8 makes it work. So his percentage, I said 33, but it probably should be maybe like 10 or 15, because he normally does the right thing, and you can't expect the guy to be right every time.
Yeah. Now it seemed like Coach was more willing to openly criticize Todd Monken in his post game, or his most recent press conference. He was very critical about some of the play calling and some of the plans that they had, but seems to think that the defense is a lot closer. Do you think that that's his honest opinion, or do you feel like some people are saying, man, this dude is blinded by his loyalty to Zach Orr, and some people are fed up with it and say this defense isn't close. I mean, it's record-breaking bad, and now you add the ridiculous amount of injuries to all their key players on defense. They were playing poorly when they were out there, and now they're going to be out there with backups. Do you what's your take on Zach Orr and really this whole defensive side of the ball?
I think, and I was talking about this earlier, I think Zach, and he can't force timelines. He got to go when it's presented to him, but he would have benefited off doing the Mike McDonald thing. Mike went to Michigan for a year, then came back. I feel like he would have been better doing, that one. And even though, they turned it around last year, for it to kind of go back into where it was, because in the preseason, our backups weren't just out there playing regular defense. They were doing, upper level, stuff in the preseason. So I felt like, well, these are the backups doing this. Imagine what the starters are going to do. And it just hasn't been that. But the one thing, even though you could fix the back end like you did last year, it's tough to fix mass up front. And if losing matter BK, Travis for whatever extended period of time, you bringing in guys that like Okoye that's hadn't really played like 3 or 4 years of football, and just being a big body in the NFL don't work. You got to know technique, hand placement, leverage, and stuff like that. Just being big don't work. And so I don't have faith in that guy. I do like the Jenkins sign. I think Jenkins is doing what I about expected him to do. But he's got to play a lot more snaps than I expected him to do. And Travis just got to find a way to stay healthy, man, because Travis is one of the better DTs when he's healthy. So he's got to figure it out, because in the middle, if they keep getting pushed up the middle, it don't matter who you got out there covering people, what safeties you got. You're gonna have to you're eventually gonna have to put a third defensive lineman in there, and you're already short defensive lineman anyway. So, but and the personnel in certain situations, like 2 weeks ago on the goal line versus the Lions, Marlowe was at Mike. Then last week, Marlowe and then Ojabo was an off-ball linebacker. This week, Mike Green, an off-ball linebacker. We in an offensive set with like 3 tight ends, and the only receiving threat out there is Tylan Wallace. No shade to Tylan Wallace, but Zaya run past me. Zaya herky jerking me. Tez run past me. D-Hop will catch it over my head. What threat does Thailand go out there?
Mm-hmm.
It's some of these personnel decisions, that's what baffled me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeez whiz. I just want to call out really quick before we get to the super chat that at 5:18 p.m. on Sunday night, I have the group text to DK and to Glenn. I said, I don't know how Lamar makes it through the season with this amount of pressure.
Yeah. And then shortly thereafter.
And there, I mean, golly day. I said it 40 times in our post-game show. I hate being right today. Because I just kept like, goodness gracious, man. It was really frustrating to watch. But you're right, Coach. I mean, ultimately, if we can't stop the push up front, it really, like, nothing else matters. Because if the offense isn't perfect, it already the standards were so high for the offense already with Lamar out there. Now that, if you're telling me they have to be even higher with Cooper Rush, this is an impossible proposition for us to put ourselves in. Tone says defense has no physicality and identity must fix. I have two questions. One, and either you let us know what you think, Coach, and then Glenn, I'd like to get your take too. Can anything be done at this point to the pass rush? Anything at all? Right? Like, I heard some Radioheads today talking about how poor the win rate was. I mean, it's just absolutely awful. Can anything be done? Like, do you guys have any monicum of hope here?
Get better through practice, because I ain't too much out there on the side of the streets that you can go get. Maybe when Adisa get healthy enough to give you a little bit more juice, but ain't much you can do at this point. But you got a way to disguise pressure, and you just got to bring more pressure, because coming with 4 ain't gonna do it. Now, we fooled the Browns, bring in, showing different looks, but only still bringing 4. But these other 3 teams and took them 4 rushers and body slammed them. Mm-hmm. The Browns was the only one that allowed us to just constantly fool their O-line and get after their quarterback. Now, at this point, you got to take some risks. Are you gonna sit back and get death by 1,000 cuts, or you gonna blitz and with the opportunity of scoring quick? Now, honestly, you want to mix that up, but I ain't no in between. I ain't no playing soft and being not breaking, because you'll get a 18 play, 10 minute and 53-second drive put on you.
Take wind out of the crowd. Yeah, it's just, that's what I kept saying. I said, if you're gonna go down, at least go down swinging. Go after their ass, like, because this sitting back, he's got all day. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I think the scary part for me about the defense, at least last year, even if they were at their worst, they were still good at stopping the run. That was at least something they could hang their hat on. Like, all right, well, yeah, we're setting records for futility when it comes to pass defense, but you ain't running on us. And opposing people, they'd say, well, that's because it's so easy to throw. Nobody even tries. Okay. But now they can throw, they can run, they can do whatever the hell they want. And it seems like there's just nothing we can do about it. And I think that's the hopeless feeling that Ravens fans are having. It's like, well, what can we hang our hat on that side of the ball? And it doesn't really seem like it. Now, I quickly want to get your take on some of the newcomers. Like what have you seen? Is Malachi Starks? Because people are going, man, we thought we'd get more play. He ain't made a play. He's having some, he's getting crossed up on some, I know on the end around, he looked completely lost. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Like, what's your take on Mike Green? And then Mike Green, again, being asked to do way too much, and he's a rookie, and he's being put in positions where it seems kind of unfair. But those guys were supposed to be impactful players day one. So, is it just like, hey, these are just rookies, and this is the kind of stuff you should expect from a rookie, or are they, disappointing picks to this point?
And this is kind of where you asked me about the positive thing. This is where I bring my positivity in, because this kind of answers my question. Answer that question. When you specifically to Mike Green, the reps that he's getting right now will benefit later on. And hopefully, I mean later on this season and not later on in his career. We're asking approximately 4 rookies to do a lot on a defense that was said to be just as good as the 2000 defense. You depending on Teddy Buchanan now, because he's a starter.
Yep.
Starks is a starter. You're getting Fub up there, and you get Mike Green. Mike Green more so than Fub right now. But those guys are actually to be major contributors on a team that's supposed to be compared to the GOAT of all defenses. They shouldn't, they should have time to develop and get that. And if you get a rookie like Puka, that's once in a lifetime. That don't always happen. Normally you get guys that got to figure the game out, because them top picks, for the most of the time, them top picks are picks on potential, and they need a minute to figure stuff out. Now you may get a more ready to play player later on, but that most of them top picks are what they could be, not what they are. A few cases they're what they are. So I got to give them at least 5 or 6 games to figure out, speed of the game, what I can do, what I can't do, what I'm strong enough to do, what I got to get better at. Because, in college, Mike was probably faster and just as strong as every offensive lineman. But now here in NFL, Mike might be faster than the offensive lineman, but if they get their hands on him, it's good. It's night. So he got to figure all that nuance out. And keep in mind, when he was winning in training camp, look what he was going against.
Even the starters aren't great, so imagine the backups.
Exactly. It'd be different if his training camp was with Penei Sewell, and then he said he was winning all the time. He was beating Carson. I mean, I like Carson Vincent. He was beating Carson Vincent and Rosengardner and some guys that we don't know anymore.
Man, well, I know. So is it? If you had to evaluate, is it more Zach Orr and the coaching staff, or is it on the players? At least, I mean, before the injuries. I mean, now you can blame that, but the injuries kind of just took place. Would you blame more the players or the coaches for the defense's performance?
Coaches, because they got to get on the same page and make whatever they're doing as simple enough for them to play fast. If you get out schemed, it's fine, but you can't be out there thinking playing on football, especially not defense.
Man, they need to bring in. Out there thinking. Man, I tell you what, man, they need to bring in Mr. Misagi or something. Every time these guys get their hands on him, what's his name? Misagi. What is it? Karate Kid guy?
Mr.
Miyagi. I'm thinking of a Misogi. A Misogi is a yearly event. It's a Japanese thing. I do a yearly Misogi. Anyway, yes. Dude, I don't understand. Adafe Owe, all these guys, as soon as they get touched, it's like it's Velcro. They're like mosquitoes on a mosquito trap. They're so attracted to. They just lock up, and it's like, you understand you're not supposed to be. It almost feels like they've been coached to like, hey, let's just run into the offensive lineman and engage. Let's just lock horns. Because I don't know what else to say. That's exactly what it looks like. I mean, Adafe Owe is a big old nothing burger. Talk about a bacon.
Great
egg
choice of words.
Yeah, exact right? Like, imagine if I would have made that bet this year.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting pretty.
I'd be out there training right now, Jimbo.
Yeah, sweating it, dude. Oh, just getting the chafing cream ready.
Right.
Dude, he's absolutely not a Jabbo. Like, I heard this guy talking about Adisa Isaac. Stop. Guys, just stop it. Goodness
it's
gracious.
A mess on the edge right now.
So this is my second question. Does anything happen? Is there anything? It's a little too early for this, but is there anything that happens at the trade deadline that Eric can do? Like, do you guys believe that there's any opportunity that we have here? We'll say Lamar gets healthy. The rest of the defense say they don't, but Lamar gets healthy. Is there anything we can do? Do you guys believe that's within our control, the trade deadline, that could potentially happen? I'm not talking about specific players, but I guess what I'm really asking is, do you think something happens that makes a difference and moves the needle this year? It's way too early to talk about specific players, I think.
What week is the trade deadline?
It's week 8. And then week 8.
It used to be week 8. I think when we had 16, it was 8. It might be 10 now.
Week 9.
Week 9, so right in the middle. So we'll have our bye by then. So we'll be played 8 games. If we're 5-3 or better, 5-3 or better, that means we lost 1 game. He might do something. But after that, who gonna want what we got? Because we gonna be sorry. Other than our top guys that we just
they might want some picks. We're gonna be sorry.
And y'all know Eric DeCosta ain't giving them no picks.
Giving up picks. You're right. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with you.
I don't even know why we fix our mouth to say them two, DeCosta and picks in the same, unless it's acquiring.
Yeah.
And then this is my other question. Is it time for us to say that maybe Eric DeCosta isn't the golden standard for talent evaluation? Because I feel like for years he's been seen as the poster child for talent evaluation. He always gets these A's. All these draft nerds are like, they have like statues of golden Eric DeCosta in their office. And, he is there. Yes.
A question for y'all, since you brought that up, because we talked about this earlier. How many of DeCosta's picks would you consider hit? We had a number earlier.
I mean, I'd have to see the list. I'd have to see like a whole list, but I mean, I gotta think Kyle Hamilton is the shining light. Yeah,
Tyler Linderbaum.
Linderbaum's not playing great right now, but he's another. Would you put Roger in that category?
We didn't.
Okay.
Justice Hill.
Come on now.
I think it's a hit. He got a second contract. I don't know.
How about was Brody his pick? Oh no.
No, I'm gonna tell you who we went with, and you tell me if you agree. Right. Kyle, Linderbaum, Zay, likely.
You got Justin Madubuike, right?
Madubuike was one, and I forget who the sixth was, but we got the sixth, and we were like, we think Nate's on the fringe, but we got the sixth. I can't remember the sixth name.
Dang,
but
that's bad. That's not good, Coach.
Travis Jones, is he?
Travis Jones. Travis Jones was six. Travis Jones was six. Travis Jones was six.
And okay, I guess I would argue like what a hit is, but like I would argue on a few others to add like.
There's some fringe guys in there.
I think Justice should be on the fringe, right? When did they take him?
He could be a fringe dude.
He's a fourth rounder.
He's a pretty decent third down back. I mean,
and then I'll tell you what, also very fringe, but is tied for most sacks on our team for what it's worth. Davius Robinson is our best edge player right now. Man. I tell you what.
So. And where they got him, I guess you got to tip your cap a little bit.
And I think it's fair to say that Tavius has shown measurable improvement every year.
But that's on the coaches. That ain't on Eric.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a lot on him. On Tavius himself.
On Tavius, yeah. I agree. He definitely has gotten better each year. He's one of my favorite players on the team right now.
Yeah, man. Because he's just all motor, right? Like I feel like he plays.
Well, Dafe put on 20 pounds of muscle, like they said in the chat.
Yeah, robot again.
He can't. The thing about Dafe, man. Okay, so has anybody seen that video of that big dude that raced? I can't believe I'm talking about this. I'm going to sound like a child. Yeah, the big dude that raced speed.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between
there's
a difference between a gym athlete and an athlete.
Well, he's a pretty good athlete. He's just a lot heavier.
He played football at my alma mater. He's on a football team. He's on a football team. I put like that.
I guess all that is fine. And but what I'm saying is that like versatile athleticism, right? Like being able to be athletic in a lot, requires some versatility in a lot of different things. My point is to say like Dafe cannot bend.
Right.
Dude, he is a robot.
He's a rock'em sock'em robot trying to be a pass rusher. Yeah.
100%. Now, if you had clubs for hands, might be a little different, but dude. Holy crap. I'm really struggling with these picks.
Yeah, y'all chat just as worse as mine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, blow Jabo. Yeah, come on.
Oh my God.
Come on, Sir City.
You can't let one go, dude. You can't.
I had to read it. It was too good. It was too good.
It had to be read. Oh my gosh. Didn't you love seeing him on the field on Sunday, Glenn? Wasn't that your favorite?
Oh, yeah, especially dropping him into coverage. I'm like, oh, look at him go. Yeah, that dude. I mean, what's really sick? I saw a tweet as George Pickens was mossing someone. They said we drafted a Jabo before that guy.
That probably was mine.
Was it yours? Okay, yeah.
Because every time George Pickens does something, I get mad about Jabo. Every time he have a good game, every time he moss somebody, every time he do something positive, I think about Jabo. Every time. Because I remember being mad on draft day, like we picked David Ojabo, who's hurt. And the best wide receiver in the draft is still here.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess you guys have answered my question.
What's that?
It's time to start reconsidering our stance.
Well, I guess my next question I'm going to hit Coach with this one. Is the head coach and the general manager now tied at the hip? Like, can Eric DeCosta fire John Harbaugh, or do they both got to go? If that's the decision, like, I can't see them separating the two. To me, they're now tied. And if Bisciotti wants to get rid of John, I feel like he might have to get rid of EDC at the same time.
Oh, that's a good question. And then because they are joined at the hip.
They're neighbors, and I mean,
but there's a business too, though.
It is.
Because I don't think Eric has done like, if I had to rank the two jobs, I think Eric has done a better job than John. So I feel like Eric has brought you high level talent and has gotten some guys that were right on the cusp of like finishing and got them to do career things, and then the coaching ain't sealed the deal, especially while having one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah. That should make it a lot. I see somebody say that's going to be some weird backyard parties.
I tell you I'll tell you the one thing that is interesting to me. That's odd to me. I think we all do this, right? Like, we add our own. If we have a mentor, or if we have, we all have parents, of course. We say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to do it like them. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be this. I'm not going to be that." But like, Eric DeCosta was following up arguably the best drafter of all time.
Yeah.
Like, why do it differently, Eric? Like, I think there's things certainly that he does, like Ozzie, the way that he values the picks, the way that, he'd rather trust his own eyes and take the pick and things like that. But man, like, Ozzie would always talk about drafting from the inside. Always. Look at our first pick in history. I mean, arguably the best left tackle of all time. And like, what has Eric done in the first few rounds outside of Rosengarten to address the O-line? What has Eric done in the first few rounds outside of Mike Green to address the guys up front? I mean, I guess you could add Adafe Owe, Mr. Reggie White himself.
No college sacks.
Jeez whiz. But I just...
Yeah, he wouldn't have made that pick. No chance Ozzie makes that pick.
Yeah, no way, dude. I mean, there's absolutely zero chance. I'm shocked Ozzie didn't like run in the room off the treadmill and just grab the phone. Eric, don't do it. Don't do it. Right? Like, that's one of those moments when you look at your kid, and I say this to my son now. I don't know where he gets this from. Who knows? But he thinks he's right all the time. Who knows where he gets that from? Right? But I tell him this all the time. I say, Henry, you can think that, but you're wrong. You can say it all you want, but you're still wrong. And like, that was one of those moments where Ozzie probably looked at Eric like, dude, you can talk to me until you're blue in the face. You're just wrong, my man. But I guess at that point, you got to let him do it, right? Like, he's the GM. He's got the shoes, got the keys now, whatever metaphor you want to use. But there's a lot of, when the ship is sinking, a lot of fingers start to be pointed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And now they're saying that the locker room may have been lost by John Harbaugh, is what we're hearing. And I guess if that's the case, then it might press, the hand of Eric DeCosta or of Steve Bisciotti that they might have to make a move, because if they lose the locker room and this team completely goes in the dumpster after all that talent, that's not going to be good. But it's not a good sign. Coach, what do you think about the fact that the big name stars chose not to speak to the media and left it, honestly, to a bunch of newcomers and young guys to step up to the mic after a tough loss?
Well, I mean, most of the big name stars were injured for the most part, and they can't talk to injured players. They're not allowed to talk to injured players. The only person I know that wasn't injured that skedaddled was Zay Flowers.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And then who wants to talk to the guards?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true.
Reiner was injured. The O-line really didn't have a great day, so who wants to talk to them? Lamar was injured. Derek stayed there and talked. Roquan was injured. Yep. Yeah. Wiggins was injured. You ended up talking to Keon Martin, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Zay probably should have stayed being the elder statesman out of all them, but
you think John's lost the locker room?
I think so. I think so. I think not to the point that like they disrespect him or it's just he probably saying the same things over and over when situations come up and it's like, man, we didn't heard this before. And it just ain't responding to. And John is the kind of coach that I feel like I would be old school, but these new kids, they a little different. And you see the success of the younger coaches in the league. That old school mentality, while I think is right, it's you got to change, you got to adapt. And if you don't adapt in that business, you die.
Yeah. Oh man,
Jimmy's going through it here. I see it.
I am.
Hey, quickly, somebody mentioned or commented and said, why not fire? You guys always mention how it's not a good idea to fire a coach midseason. You always say it, but you never explain. I guess my explanation would be typically a coach is going to want to have his own staff. So you're not just firing John. You would likely want to bring in an entirely new coaching staff because that's what the head coach would want, right? He's also going to probably teach things a lot different. His coaches might teach techniques different. So to make that type of an overhaul, now you could bring just a coach in, but then at that point it's like more of an interim, and it seems lame duck. It seems like it's just a matter you're going to get fired when the season's over. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to bring in a coach from the outside mid-season. Now you can promote within with an interim status, but it's all but understood that person's going to be let go at the end of the year. They may say he can interview and all that. And
the young coach, the position coach is going to split their time between game planning and finding a job. So the game plan is going to be crappy.
Good point. Good point. They're going to be getting their resume ready. They're going to be looking at other rosters saying, hey, this is how I can fix your team if you hire me. Yeah. So it's never a good idea to do that. But if the train goes completely off the rails, let's say they lose both these next two games, they come out of the bye and they even lose the first game out of the bye. And it's they're what would that make them? 1-6 at that point. Do you see any scenario in which John is let go mid-season?
If it ain't 1-5 at if it ain't 1-5 at the bye week, I don't think it's gonna happen unless you're looking at like a 1-10, and I really
at that point it's like, what difference does it make, right?
Right.
So
I think
1-5
at the bye maybe, but if not, then because you got if you do it at the bye, you got whoever you bring in or whatever decision you make, you got a week and a half to kind of get your get stuff in place. You do it on a Tuesday or a Monday after Sunday game. You got to play the next Sunday.
Yeah. I think that what ends up happening is if they do decide to move on from John, I think they have a real discussion with him and say, hey, look, what is it? How do you want this chapter to end here? We can be as respectful as possible. Are you going to retire after this? Are you going to, give him some time? I think that the way it goes, I think John, I don't know, he's 62. I think John would be great on TV, doing CBS, Fox, whatever, just on Sundays, Mondays, whatever. I think John would do really well. And I don't know. I think maybe I'm different. Maybe it's easy for me to say, but I would just retire, like mutually part ways, and let the cut be clean. And then also, keep him on your side. It's not like John doesn't know good coaches and good coaching. Right? Like he can, if you do this right as a Ravens organization, it makes this transition easier because then John is an ally.
Right.
So I don't know if I hope for the sake of, I think that it improves our chances of getting a next good coach. If we do decide to move on John Harbaugh, that it's not midseason, that it's the end of the season, and that it's done with some professional decorum on both sides.
All right. Only advantage to that getting rid of him early is if you're going to go the college route, you have the first opportunity to start trying to groom whoever you want while the other teams are still playing meaningful football because they trying to make the playoffs or got their head coach is still there, whatnot.
Wow.
I can't believe we're talking about this, man.
Right.
I'm seeing Rex Ryan and Gruden are the preferred in the chat.
Give me Gruden. I'm okay with Rex. Bring them both for all I care. Let Rex run the defense, but
Rex.
But then you're still looking at that old school mentality.
You are.
I think is these kids ain't They ain't messing with that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Coach. The only thing I would say is I think that in his play calling, Gruden probably keeps it fresh enough. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He's a hard-ass coach, though.
He is. But I bet you on offense, it would be fun to like get in a room and dig into it with him and say, Lamar, we're going to do this, this, and this. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then, and get into all this stuff. I think for me as an offensive player, that would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, Matt Rossi says no more old coaches. A new coach does not need John hanging around like a buzzard, and EDC needs to go too. He is not a fan of EDC and does not want John anywhere near. Oh, wow. Well, it's absolutely crazy at this point but I think you're right, Jimbo. If he were to go, I think he should go into TV. Now, he'll have jobs. People are going to be people are going to be hyped to try and bring that guy in with the resume he has. But I think TV gig would be nice for him. Work a little less hours, too, than the insane schedule that a head coach has. Well, Coach, I guess
way too long.
Yeah, that's it.
We good.
What's that? Did we keep you too long? Okay, well,
no, I'm saying we had a good time right here. We had a good time.
So I appreciate you joining us as always. Thanks for bringing some level of positivity to this remaining of this season. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find all you're working on and all your stuff? Yeah.
You can find me on YouTube at Sip the Tally Films, on X at Coach Evans 9, and I also have a second channel on YouTube. It's called More Sip the Tally, where it deals with the other 31 teams not named Baltimore Ravens.
Nice. Shout
out.
Appreciate
your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach. We'll chat soon and have a good one. And don't take it too hard. We'll be okay.
We will. Depending on who starts week 8, then we'll know.
All right. You're more positive than me. I'm saying we'll be okay. As in next year we'll be here before we know it.
Sorry, doing mock drafts, Coach.
I'm like shutting it down, baby.
hold the line for a couple weeks. Hold the line for a couple weeks. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Coach. See ya.
Yeah, I'm already seeing mock drafts on social media. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did we get to this point? It's absolutely crazy.
It just happened so fast, right? It's like we just the fight just started, ding ding, and it's like bye, we're already on the canvas, dude. Like
already on the mat. Yep. This is it's like the opponent just ran across the ring and Superman punched us right in the kisser. But as I put up on the show earlier, Cooper Rush does have a 9-5 record and 14 career starts as a Cowboy. He does have a 20-10 interception to touchdown interception ratio. So he is at least a backup who is experienced compared to his peers. He's got a ton more playing experience than most backups. And so, hey, maybe they can put together a game plan that beats the Texans. And if they can at least do that, even if they lose to the Rams, they then go into their bye week. And if Lamar's able to come back healthy after that, hopefully Ronnie too, fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get some guys back. And the schedule obviously gets a lot easier after that first run of 6 games with 5 division winners. So the season's not over yet, but it's certainly teetering at the edge, and they need to get pushed in the right direction, back onto solid ground. And, hey, maybe, like he said, a simplification of the offense and shows that it works, a re-emphasis around Derrick Henry as a running back, maybe some more under center.
Like pare it down, right, and just let the talent around do what they do.
Yeah, because we certainly still think we have it, at least on that side of the ball. Right. Blair Davis says, feelings on the Ravens working out Eric Kendricks. I think it's excellent. I mean, look, I think Higgins should have an opportunity. We saw him a lot in preseason. We love what we saw from him, but bringing in a stable veteran like Eric Kendricks, who's played a ton of football in his career, I think makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, Glenn. We need to do everything we possibly can within our control to get this thing done and see what we can save of this season. There's still a pulse there for me, Glenn, but we'll have to see. Anyway, that's it for us tonight, folks. We appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you so much. We will be back shortly, of course, to preview your Baltimore Ravens against the Houston Texans, like Glenn mentioned, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you.
See you.